Hello and welcome to another in our series of Property Marketing Live. This is where we help you to do your marketing in your property business, whether you're wanting to attract investors to come and work with you, or indeed you're out there looking for property leads. This will really help you. With me is Andy Phillips. And today, Andy, we're going to be talking about your power content strategy. What does that mean?
Well, one of the things I do with a lot of my clients, not just my property clients, but clients in every sector, I do training after a while. There's a point where you sort of you start doing the training and trying to get people to understand marketing, get them to get the inspiration for things like content. And we spoke about content last week, and content marketing is quite an important aspect of it. We're talking about what you post, where you send them back to, and all that sort of stuff. And so what I've got is like a cool little exercise. And let me just put this up on screen so you can see what it is. It's called the Power Content Strategy. And the idea of this, more than anything else, is to give people inspiration of what content to create that's actually going to make a difference to the business. There's a lot of people out there, their ideal clients, we talked about ideal clients, but focusing on your ideal client and getting them to understand exactly what you do and how you do it is of prime importance. So we need to get some inspiration of what sort of content to actually create that's going to make a difference. And that's why we call it a power content strategy. And I say it's one of the things I do with training, within my training sessions and stuff like that when I'm working with clients. But it's been something I've been doing for a fair few years, and it's proven to give those people the inspiration, my clients, the inspiration they need to create content that's going to make a difference. So I'm going to go through this, and as usual, I've got an article. We always have an article that goes along with this because it's really important to just sort of have something to go back to and have a little read through. But this goes through the power content strategy. So it gives a bit of an introduction to the power content strategy, but it also goes through the process that we use. And as you can see, this is an exercise. So we fill in parts and we, try and understand what we're trying to create from the information that we've created. So it goes through the whole thing here. There's 3 stages. As I'll go through, I've got a little presentation I'm going to do for you guys. So have a look at the article as well. We're going to link that in the comments, but also in the description as well for this session. So if I just go through the actual content strategy, let me just put this back up again, and we go through this bit by bit. So the power content strategy is a way of giving you the ideas of what content to create to pre-sell you and your business to your ideal client. The idea is creating powerful content that speaks directly to your target audience to overcome their objections. And this is something which I think if you use this and think about this in a very, very positive way of actually building that content that can pre-sell. So it comes in 3 stages. It's a 3-stage process. The first stage is all about education and awareness, and ask what false beliefs or limiting beliefs. And again, we've talked about this before, this concept of limiting beliefs. But what false beliefs or limiting beliefs does your ideal client have about what you generically do? So this is, if you're doing things like HMOs, what does your ideal client think about HMOs? If you're doing land deals, what do they think about that industry, that building property, new build property on land? If you're doing deal sourcing, again, what does your client think about the deal sourcing industry? What limiting beliefs or false beliefs do they have about that generic industry? The second part of this is about personal engagement, and ask what limiting beliefs do your ideal clients have about themselves. Now, this is something which I don't think a lot of people think about, but it's actually quite a good thing to do, to think about what does your ideal client think about themselves, because they may be worried if they're making the right decision. They may think that they're the problem. So you may have a fantastic business, with a lot of authority, a lot of reputation behind you. You might be be doing some fantastic work, but they may think it's them that is the problem. And we deal with this sort of thing all the time. When I'm talking to my clients, when I'm working in my own business, one of the things that I get asked about is, do you think I can do this? So if I'm going to market my business, can I do this? Is it something which I can do? So a limiting belief that someone has about themselves is a really important thing to overcome. So we are looking at overcoming objections, and that is a very, very it's one that happens all the time. And I don't think people in business realize that their clients may think they might be the problem. And the last one, the third stage, looks at conversion. So it asks, what false belief does your ideal clients have about your specific business? So they may be sold on, using a deal sourcer, but what about you? What about you and your business? The specific thing that you actually do. And so we're going to go through these, and I say there's an article that goes along with that. And in that article, if I can just quickly go back to that, I've also got a little Google Doc here, which if I just open this up, I'll show you what this looks like. And this is what I give to my clients. So this is just a Google Doc, which you can click on, you can make a copy of, put it into your own Google Drive, and start filling these out. So there's the 3 stages in here. There's also room for some notes, because it's good to actually put some notes in about your thought process and maybe some expansion on what you're actually trying to achieve here. So that's available as well. Okay, so that's in the actual document that we've got. So if we go back to the presentation, so we've got these 3 processes that we have to go through, or we're going to go through. And so I'm going to go through each of these stage by stage. So we're going to start off with this education awareness. So what false beliefs does your ideal client have about what you generically do? And the idea of this is, in the left-hand column, you write down what negative beliefs your ideal clients have about the type of area of property service you provide. So we start going through these. And what I've done is I've filled some of these in. This is just like my first thoughts. Again, I don't want you to copy what I've done. I want you to think about your own industry, your own sector, your own business, your own clients. But it give you an idea of the sort of thing. So it's just an example of what we can do with this. So if I just quickly go into this, so you got the right-hand column is where you put your content that you need to create to dispel that negative belief, and then the third part of this is you actually go and create that content. So I'm going to go show you some examples of what I put down here. So this is things I've really thought just about deal sourcing for this one, because it's easier to do one type of thing. So I'm not going to try and confuse you with doing all these sort of things. As I say, don't copy what I've done. These are just an example of how you can do this. So in the left-hand column, we put down these negative beliefs that your ideal client might have about the type of area of property service you provide. So you might put down, it's too complicated to purchase a deal through a property sourcing business, or things that the property deals can't be that good, otherwise the sourcer would have kept the deals for themselves. This is one that comes up a lot with property sourcing or deal sourcing. Why would you sell a property on if it's that good? Why wouldn't you keep it for yourself? So you write these things down in that left-hand column. In the right-hand column, you can start putting in what framework or content can you create that will eradicate that false belief. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense for me, Andy. Thank you very much indeed.
Cool. So, let's just start with this first one. It's too complicated to purchase a deal through property sourcing business. So you write these ones down first and then get the solutions in your own mind. And what you can do for this, you can do an article, a downloadable PDF, or a video of how to source property easily and at speed. With this one here, things that the property deals can't be that good, otherwise a sourcer would have kept them for the deals for themselves. Again, you can do articles, downloads, PDFs. You can do any sort of content, but it's detailing the job of a property sourcer and why these properties are being offered. So you're overcoming that objection. Why would they sell it on? It can't be that good. But if you can write a piece of content, so whether it's an article or a video, whichever is the way that you like to do your content, that shows you what you actually do as a business and how you actually bring property deals through to your clients, and why they're not selected out, so they're not all the rough deals that you don't want, because most property deal sources have do this as a business, and so they may keep deals along the way if it's perfect for them, perfect in their area, and it fulfills their criteria and everything else. But a lot of times, a deal sourcer is actually going out to an area and finding really great deals, and we need to tell people that's what we're doing, rather than just giving you the dross at the end of the day, because that's what a lot of people think. So it's a limiting belief or a false belief that you're overcoming before they even talk to you. So that's really the whole point of this process, is to start putting this thing in. So you've got things like, think the cost of deal sources charges too much, so you can do cost justification videos, and talk about the time and care it takes and what you're actually doing. Not confident that the service is good. Again, things like you can bring in testimonials, examples and case studies to show you that you have got a client base that is satisfied, more than satisfied, the way you do your business and what deals you're bringing through, and helping them to become better investors themselves. They might want to go into property but have never used a property sourcing company before. So again, you can do something like, think about doing maybe a beginner's guide to purchase investment property through a property sourcing company. Can you see how this will help you to overcome those objections before you even speak to them?
It's a very clever way, Andy, of actually stripping back what their challenges will be, so that everything you're delivering on these videos and these blogs actually is going to talk to them in a positive way. How, though, obviously we tend to think it from our side, we do know all the benefits of what we offer as a business. How can you look at what might be the false beliefs that they might have?
Well, this again, it comes from a little bit of experience. So when you first do this, and maybe if you've not actually done property deals or property deal sourcing full on, you understand the concepts, and this is the whole point of this exercise anyway, is to start thinking to yourself, okay, so what false beliefs do my clients have about this generic industry? And it just means sitting down with a cup of tea or a glass of wine and a piece of paper and going through this and start thinking about this and articulating what those problems could be. And to be honest, with I've met a lot of people. We went down to Deal Sourcing Live. I spoke down there a little while ago, and when you're talking to people who are actually on the training, you can that they have started to think about this and how they can position themselves and what sort of things they need to overcome. And this is really just articulating it. This is actually putting it down on a piece of paper. So if you're first starting off, then you got to think, what could those things be? If you've been doing it for a while, you'll probably know what those objections are, because that would have come up time and time again. And I've speak to a lot of people who do deal sourcing, and one of the things is that think that property deals can't be that good, otherwise the sourcer will keep them. And it's one of those things that when I talk to people who are doing deal sourcing, my clients who are doing deal sourcing, it's a problem that comes up, again and again and again. So actually getting it down and working out what you can do to overcome that objection is really powerful. This is why we call it power content, because it's quite powerful content that is actually going to help them to overcome objections before they even talk to them. So that's really the first one. So we got a couple more to do. So the stage one is really just doing what generically you offer. The second one is I think even more powerful. And this is about personal content. So in the left-hand column, again, we want to write down the false or limiting beliefs your ideal client may have about themselves. And as I said right at the top of this, that you should be thinking about this, because they may think they're the problem. They may think that they may not be able to do it. They may not have the wherewithal, the skill sets to actually fulfill what that is. So again, in the right-hand column, we can put down the content ideas and create to dispel these negative beliefs. And then we go and create that content. So the third stage is actually going out and creating that content. So let's just have a look at some examples of what I'm talking about here. The false beliefs that your clients might have about themselves could be things like, is property the right vehicle for investment for them? They may be new to it or had a bad experience in the past. So if you put that in the left-hand column, that's the thing that you want to try and combat. in the right hand column, you can put something like how to professionally invest using sourced property. 5 ways to make great investment choices. And again, you can do that on a downloadable PDF. Again, on a video, you can do it in any content style. But it's just getting the inspiration for what content you can create to dispel that myth. And that's really the whole point of this whole exercise. They think it's too complicated to learn, so you can do 3 simple steps to source property through us. I can't afford to pay other people to find property deals. Again, it's something which comes up pretty often. This one is a really good one because we've encouraged some of our clients to do things like cost justification videos, the time and care it takes to package those deals and the work you put into it, the due diligence you put into it, and how those package deals then go off to their investor base. They can't afford to do it. Well, they may not be able to afford not to. And that's really the sort of thing you want to get over. So you look at cost justification. It's okay to buy property, but they need help to make it profitable. Well, that's something which you could think about doing up something like follow-up and additional support services. You might be getting cash for finding the property deals and selling those into your client base. But if they have that false belief or that belief or a limiting belief that they may need some help to make it profitable, then you might be able to think about doing some additional support services and charging them for it, because that will help them to reach their goals. And that's what your job is. It's not just to pass property, but you might be able to put some additional services. And a couple of my clients do that. They do a little additional services to help those investors on their list to achieve that goal. So if they have some problems with how do I refurbish, how do I do this, how do I get a team on board, you can do some additional services and maybe just do some downloads, maybe a little video series, whatever it is that helps them with that. And you can charge them for that as well, because it's providing extra value. Things like they don't know what sort of property deal is right for them. So they could do your property deal investment strategy, how to build a life-changing property portfolio. Again, just another piece of content to think about. I don't have enough knowledge to become a property investor. And again, this is that follow-up and additional support services. So if you put that in front of people before they even know too much about you, they'll know that you can source property, but that you can also help them at a later stage. And it's just, as I say, don't copy what I've done. Yes, these are just examples to try and help you to understand how to use this little exercise that we do with our clients. And the third one is conversion. This is what is a false belief your ideal client has about your specific offer. So we've talked about the generic offer, the generic industry. What do they think about that industry overall? We talked about themselves, and now we're talking about what you specifically offer as a business into your clients. What makes you different? What makes you better? And so you could, in the left-hand column, you just write down the false beliefs the prospects have. In the right-hand column, you write down the content ideas that counter these false beliefs. And then the third part is creating that content that just demonstrates that your specific offer is perfect for them. So what we're trying to do is to hone down the information that you can give them. And it just gives you it just inspires you to write the right things for your ideal clients. So in this one, again, I've got some examples in this. They're not sure your business is the right one for them. Then that's going to be an obvious one, isn't it? Whenever, whatever business you're in, there's lots of people who go and do this. It's like with me, there's lots of people who do marketing, but am I the right person for them? So in the right-hand column, you can write, your property investment strategy, how to build a life-changing property portfolio or beginner's guide. Again, case studies, testimonials, video on a landing page. You can start thinking about all that different type of content that's going to stop them thinking that and thinking something else, because that's what we're really trying to do. Is we're trying to get you to understand what the problems are, the blockers that your ideal clients may have about your business, you, them, generically the overall business structure. And if you can combat that before they've even talked to you, by looking at your content and reading this stuff, it shows that you are there to help them achieve their goals. And that's what people want. They just want to know what you can do for them. So, and there's another one here that comes up quite a lot, which is other companies are less costly, some substantially so. And again, you can do maybe a different sort of cost justification video for this one. But again, it's why they can't afford not to, because as most people know, when you're doing deal sourcing, if you've ever done deal sourcing, you know that just the time and effort that goes into understanding the area, knowing that inside out, understanding what parts of that area are going to be really good for doing things like HMOs or refurb and flips, or whatever it is that, whatever strategy that your clients are going for, to have an understanding of that. That's taken a long time. And it's not something which your client is going to be able to do straight away, especially if they're time poor, cash rich, or knowledge poor investors that don't know the area very well. They might live in the area, but they don't know it very well as far as actually the right sort of properties to get to make a good investment. So again, you can do a cost justification video. They've not heard of you and your business and know nothing of the properties you offer. Well, that's just ignorance. So you can combat the ignorance of them not knowing anything about you and your business by creating things. Send them to the website where they can download the full prospectus, book a call with you and that sort of thing. But again, it's testimonials, case studies, all those sort of things. It's like, if that's the problem, how can I combat the problem? They are from a different area and worried about purchasing an area they don't know. Now, we know that a lot of people look for different types of areas, and there may be some investors that say, well, I don't, if you're deal sourcing in Stoke-on-Trent, for instance, and they see that it looks like it's a really good area, but they're going to be worried. So how do you combat that worry? And that's really, again, what your strategy is, video or documentation, what your strategy is, why that area is very good, and write an article on that, right? Or do a video on why that area is really good, so they understand why you invest in that area, and it will dispel some of those fears about investing in that area if you do it properly. I've heard negative comments about you. Now, this can happen all the time. There's always going to be people that just don't like what you do or just don't like you in general. And they may have heard something. So if that's the case, then again, testimonial case studies, videos on landing pages, all those sort of things. Think about what you can write, what you can create that's going to dispel that myth. So the power content strategies can, basically, if you complete the exercise, they give you a lot of ideas of what content that will stimulate real interest in your business. And it can be used in different parts of the sales funnel, because we've talked about sales funnel before. So it can be used in different parts. All that content can be used in different parts of the sales funnel. So stage one is perfect for the top end of funnel. Generically, what do you do as a business? If you're doing land deals or HMOs, deal sourcing, whatever it is, PLO, whatever. But it's perfect for the top end of funnel. So general posting on social media platforms, free downloads, with the option of using a form to get them onto the database, because one of the biggest things you want to do is get those prospects onto a database. But that's really good for stage one is really good for top end of funnel. Stage two is great for top end of funnel, but also as content we use to follow up in campaigns. So they may have come onto your site, they may have downloaded your prospectus, and this information, this is about them personally, their limiting beliefs about themselves. You can start putting in some content which will encourage them that they can do this, that they are good enough, and all that sort of thing, or just helping them to overcome themselves. And again, I do this with content all the time. Trying to help my clients to understand that they can do this. This is not something which is beyond them. They're not the problem. And I think that, again, it's one of those things that if you understand that they will have those limiting beliefs, you can combat that very, very early. But it's really good for top end of funnel, but also content once they've actually come into the funnel. And the last stage can be used in follow-up campaigns. So you may have even talked to them. And this is about your specific product. So you may have talked to them, but now you can push in content to them, which shows you why you're the real deal, why they should be working with you, and how you can help them specifically to reach their goals. So that's really what the whole concept. That's the concept of the power content strategy. It works. It's an exercise. It means that you should be able to do this without too much problem. It's something which we've used with our clients a lot, and it has made a massive difference. It makes a difference to their mindset as well. We did a whole thing on mindset, property marketing mindset. I think it was the first one we ever did, like 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, whatever it was now. But getting the mindset in the right way, getting your mindset in the right way is so important to enabling you to actually market your property business with a structure behind it. And this whole concept, the power concept, the power content strategy is just another way of you getting it on a piece of paper, thinking about these problems that you may have in convincing people that you are the person that they really need to deal with. So I know it's really powerful. It's been, I've got a lot of feedback from my clients when we do this training, that it has really opened their mind up to how they can actually market their business and overcome objections before people even talk to them.
We need to have the belief, Andy, that we do have an amazing business, and I'm sure that we all do. It's about just defending our corner and actually answering those false beliefs that everyone has, making them realize that we are the right people to work with them.
Absolutely. And I think the problem has always been with when you're marketing, if you've not got into the marketing mindset, these sort of exercises start making you really think about you and your business and what you're offering and your ideal client. It makes you think about all those different things. And if I can help people who are watching this, if I can help you to not be blanked, not have a blank mind when you're actually going into marketing these, your property business. And as you say, Andy, having true belief in what you do. But also, when you do these exercises, one thing very, very clearly happens with my clients when they do these exercises. They start thinking more about how they can help their ideal client to reach their goals. Not just, I'm sure I can do it, but how are you going to do it? And again, it's just this articulation of what you can actually provide your clients with. And this exercise makes you think hard about you, your business, your offering, the industry in general, your client base, what they think. And it really does make a huge, huge difference. You'd be surprised if you just take it on board and go and do this. You will be surprised at what happens to your mindset at the end of this process. Even before you start creating the content, just going through the process makes you really, really think and sort of super analyze your business and what you're offering. So it's powerful. That's why it's so powerful.
So there we are. That's your power content strategy. Well worth watching this video again, because I know you'll get so much more from it the second time round, because Andy explains it so perfectly. It's worth you just thinking hard about what you want to put down, overcome the objections that potentially your clients are going to have, and really make them realize that you are the right person to help them moving forward. What are we be covering in the next one, Andy?
The next one, I'm going to do something which a couple of people have asked for, actually. I've been using some jargon over the time, and again, using the jargon, I want people to start getting that into their minds as well, what this jargon actually means. And one of the things that we've been asked about is, we've talked about autoresponders, and people might understand a little bit about what an autoresponder is. But I'm going to go into how an autoresponder is actually used within a property business to help market and actually keep people top of mind. Again, we've got this article that's going to go out with that one, that will go out with the next one. But we go through, exactly what an email autoresponder is and how it actually works, what it actually does for the business. We're going to talk about email autoresponders in action. So it's going to be, again, it's one of the things that people have sort of asked about, only because it's a piece of jargon and we need to sort of just clarify the jargon. The whole point of Property Marketing Live, with me and you doing this every week, is so we can open the minds up of property owners that marketing isn't daunting. It's something that they can do, but just getting your head around the different jargon, the sort of things that we can do, and understanding the technology and what the technology can actually do to help you promote your business, I think is more important than anything else. Just getting it, start getting this information coming in, watch these videos a few times, get the download, or rather the access the article, have a read of that. And if people have got any questions on any of this stuff, you can just book a call with me. There's links in the articles to book calls with me and things like that. So they can just book a call with me. I can run through things. I'm more than happy to help the PIN community with their property marketing. We know we can help you.
So do reach out to Andy. The links are around and about here. And we want to help you on your property journey. Thanks for joining us on this session. And we look forward to you joining us next time for more Property Marketing Live. See you soon.
See you later, guys.